This week, the Roadrunners take on the number 1 ranked team in college football. 1 week after our most challenging home game against Texas, we're on the road to take on the Oklahoma Sooners, who are a perfect 6-0, even with their regular starting quarterback injured. Caleb Williams is still a few weeks away from coming back from his elbow injury, but Spencer Rattler has played really well, and this is still the number 1 team in yardage, points, and passing yards. Quite the challenge here for UTSA in their very first Big 12 season. Now, today's episode is going to be very different. You can probably already notice it's a shorter episode. I screwed up the recording and don't have any gameplay audio. So instead of editing this and doing my usual play-by-play style commentary with no crowd noise, no on-field noise, I felt like it would be better to make this episode feel a bit more like my Rockies franchise, where oftentimes I'm recapping things from the perspective of already having seen the game, but telling you the story of that game. So if you enjoy the video, let me know down below. If not, I plan to return to the regular format next episode. Let's go right into the opening drive of the game. UTSA started with the football, and Evan Newton on the game's first play, taking the quarterback sweep outside. Little choppy video here, only time that really happens, but a 53-yard run to open the game. Exactly what you want to see here against the number 1 ranked team. But you still want to finish this drive. A little sweep here to Randy Jones, kind of getting creative here with the first couple plays. Then second down, first throw, and he can't get it away cleanly. Might have had Carter there for 6. Coming back for 3rd and 4, and this time the pressure brings down Newton. He is sacked by Josh Ellison, so we cannot fully capitalize on that big opening play. But out comes James Benson. It's a 3-0 lead. We'll take that. Now, the strength of our team this year has been the defense, but they've struggled in a couple of our toughest matchups, and this was going to be the toughest by far. Spencer Rattler, floating one outside. He connects with Mike Woods. That's a 14-yarder. Already into UTSA territory on first down. They dump it off, and here is the sloppy tackling of the Roadrunners. But eventually, a forced fumble by Andre Ross. Jason Holmes recovers, and the Roadrunners score first and then get a quick takeaway to set them up with the short field. It's a dream setup here for UTSA in the first quarter, but it's been a struggle for them to run on these tougher Big 12 teams that aren't always known for their defense. So that forces them to be a lot more pass heavy, and here's Oliver Carter for a gain of 11. Short yardage is something we've been able to handle, but being able to just get good first down yardage has been a struggle. Here is 3rd and 4 for Evan Newton, trying to scramble out of the pocket. He takes the contact and fights his way ahead for a first down. We probably have to do a lot more of that with Newton, considering the offensive line struggles, and he gets sacked here on 2nd down. Wasn't expecting the rush there off the edge. 3rd and 14, we're going to try to get 6 up top for Joe Wright, and that is broken up by Delarian Turner-Yell. We're forced to settle for a second field goal. It's still a good start, but you need touchdowns. Oklahoma trying to get things under control now. They give it to Theo Weiss on the jet sweep. Here's some extra yardage as he works his way up to the 47. It's a 24-yard pickup. A couple plays later, a chance to possibly get off the field, but Rattler floats one perfectly for Jaden Hazelwood. Gain of 18 and into scoring position. Rattler up the seam again for Hazelwood. 25 on this connection. Oklahoma in the red zone for the first time. Staying in the air. Rattler not trying to force anything, and he gets sacked back at the 20-yard line. Preston Quinn's having a phenomenal season. That's his 9th sack of the season. 3rd and 16. UTSA just trying to prevent the one thing: getting beat in the end zone, and Marvin Mims gets open. Rattler finds him for 6. And just like that, it's like the good start for UTSA is erased. Having to settle for field goals is such a huge letdown. So now, trailing by 1 here in the first quarter, and Newton goes down once again. A lot of blitzing here early on from Oklahoma. They created a lot of pressure. 3rd and 14, motioning out Vince Taylor for a new look and trying to throw his way downfield, as that is perfectly covered and should have been intercepted. After 1, we've kept it close, but Oklahoma's up 7-6. They get the short field once again. Spencer Rattler to the sideline. There's Marvin Mims once again, 17 yards. 1st and 10, pressure this time, and it's Kellen Thomas getting through, and he has already set the single season sack record this year. He's already at 10 and has been the defensive MVP. Oklahoma backs up for 2nd and 17, and this is Kennedy Brooks bouncing off defenders and finding 29 yards. They couldn't have blocked this play up any better, and then there's the quickness on display of Brooks, setting up the Sooners for a 1st and goal touchdown. Austin Stogner, who had the fumble earlier. That's back-to-back touchdown drives, and Oklahoma goes up by 8. At this point, I just wanted to see us establish a nice drive. Don't forget about the running game, but Moss only gets 2 yards. We're having to do a lot of this through the air and start to figure out, protection-wise, how we can handle all this pressure. I mean, I'm worried about the defender here on the right side of the line, and we just give up the unblocked defender right in the face of Newton. This was a frustrating way to open the game, knowing we couldn't block these guys. Oklahoma once again gets the short field. There's a 1st down for Kennedy Brooks. 3rd and 1 a couple plays later. Little check down into the flats. They take it into the red zone once again. Already 2 straight touchdown drives. Rattler from the pocket finds Woods in the back of the end zone to make it 3 straight possessions. A slow start for Oklahoma, but then quickly showing why they are the #1 offense right now in college football. Meanwhile, UTSA struggling to get 1st downs. Play action here to Taylor, and wide open downfield. That is the tight end, Oliver Carter, giving us the big play of 40 yards. A play we definitely needed to get going. Again to the play action, settling here for Battle, trying to chip away and avoid negative plays so we can get to good 3rd downs. Trying to get 5, scrambling away and floating off the mark out in front for Randy Jones. Newton doesn't have the best accuracy outside the pocket. I knew here against Oklahoma, you go for it in this situation, but didn't see the open receiver in the flats until it was too late, and time runs out on Evan Newton once again. The only bright spot there is at least it's not as short of a field for Oklahoma. But they quickly get across the 50 with Marvin Mims once again. Nice grab made here by Mike Woods for 11 yards. Oklahoma back in the red zone, 4 for 4 on 3rd downs. Here's Rattler 3rd and 6. Hazelwood underneath, trying to defend a little bit too deep on that play. He takes it up to the 1-yard line. And then Rattler trying to throw again, and breaking off of his route is Kennedy Brooks, and he catches the 1-yard touchdown. 4 first-half passing touchdowns in this game for Spencer Rattler, as Oklahoma looks well on their way to win number 7. Now, I wasn't ready to just throw in the towel here in the first half. There's a better throw for Newton on the run as he connects with Joe Wright. We still got 20 seconds, man. It's college football. That's an eternity when you're getting 1st downs. Jones for 11. 10 seconds left. Newton throws short, and the perfect setup there allows Wright to move the sticks. We bring out James Benson very quickly for a 3rd field goal try, and this kick is wide left, no good. He's been mostly reliable this season, but just could not hit the 3rd try. We end the first half with no touchdowns and Oklahoma leading by 22 points. It's about what I expected going against the #1 team. I know we were competitive with Texas last week, but that was also a home game, and those tend to be a little bit easier. Going on the road here was never going to be the best situation for us, and we just couldn't make the most of that solid start. Oklahoma had 4 straight touchdown drives, now opening the third quarter with the football as Kyle Jones makes the interception off the Kennedy Brooks drop. Rattler checks it down, good timing, but he just can't catch the ball, and Jones makes the heads-up play. Second takeaway for UTSA, now a short field and an 8-yard sweep to Joe Wright. Second down, floating over the middle, that's Carter, and finally first and goal Roadrunners. Handoff, Vince Taylor powers into the end zone, and UTSA finally has their touchdown, and now looks to cut this lead to 14. Going for 2, dumped off, Taylor couldn't handle it, might have been shy anyway. But those are the kinds of sequences that can make this game interesting. A 16-point game now. Nice catch and run for Austin Stogner, 14 yards. Oklahoma trying to get back on track. Brooks breaks the tackle of Jason Hall, gets a block on the outside, and he's gone for a 36-yard rushing touchdown. Brooks makes up for his drop-turned interception, and he was really putting together a nice game. Second touchdown overall. Oklahoma back up now by 23. Next drive for UTSA, 3rd and 17. This is the last place we want to be, but going up the seam, that is Darren Rose, the slot machine, for 34 yards and a first down. UTSA at least trying to compete offensively, but still doing so completely one-dimensional. No running game. 3rd and 5. We'll take the wide open yardage as Whittaker gets drilled. Gain of 11. Here is a 2nd down and 14. Quick pass right. Can't handle it. He's been pretty inconsistent this year, but had that nice highlight last episode. And on 3rd and 14, Rose handles this one to get 8. And now you can talk yourself into going for it. 4th and 6, trailing by 23. Newton fires across the middle, and Wright drops this one. 2nd of the drive. And this time, it wasn't because of contact. He dropped it before the hit. We've got to be more consistent on offense. We have not been able to put together a lot of 3-touchdown games where we've been impressive pretty much from start to finish. We played really well against Texas State, but that was really the best we've looked all year. We go to our next possession. That's Tim Whittaker in the game, and he replaced Joe Wright after those 2 drops. He makes the first down catch, then Curtis Davis can't handle this one between 2 defenders. We go to 3rd down, try to spread this defense out. And when Wright can get all by himself, he's a lot more reliable. But in traffic, you really can't count on him. 1st and 10, quick screen. Now we get Whittaker, who's not the best screen receiver, but he does get 7 yards. Again, staying with this empty look. Newton trying to take a shot downfield that should have been intercepted. Good coverage again by Turner Yell. It is 3rd down and 3. Got to use Newton as a runner in these situations. He does have good power. Some of the best yard after contact ability on the entire team. So that allows us to continue this drive. Now against the pressure, Newton gets drilled and lost the football as Oklahoma picks up the takeaway. Throughout my series, I've always had trouble with these teams that can blitz without showing that they're maybe going to blitz. Pretty good coverage behind it. Gotta find an easier way to avoid turnovers like that. Hazelwood on the outside makes another catch, 24 yards. Felt like our defensive backs were always a step or 2 behind in coverage. Brooks continuing to run well. 3rd down and 1. He picks up the conversion. This drive would lead to a field goal for Oklahoma, taking us into the final minutes of the bowl game as Newton completes again to Randy Jones for a gain of 16. Now a little play action. This one's batted in the air and thankfully not picked off. Newton continues to keep that low interception count on the season. 2nd and 10, floating again with good touch, and Wright just can't catch the ball today. 3rd drop of the game. We're going for it again on 4th down, and 2 receivers in the same area is not ideal. Incomplete. And just another mistake on the day for this UTSA offense. We continue to play a very incomplete style of football. Sometimes it looks like we're figuring things out. We'll get some big plays, but just can't do some of the simple stuff well. And today, we had to pass the ball pretty much every snap. That's not how this offense is designed to be set up, but we are just overmatched in the trenches against some of these teams. Now, this is the toughest stretch of games on the schedule. Having played Texas and Oklahoma, it'll get easier from here. We have one ranked opponent left on the schedule, and that is Baylor, but I think that every game remaining is pretty winnable. We are 3-4 now, but I do think we have a good chance to become bowl eligible because I do think our defense will fare a lot better in some of these upcoming games. Although we haven't seen them before, so I still wonder, like, okay, Texas Tech is next. How are we going to play against them? I have no idea, but I know they're not Oklahoma, so I like our chances to keep the game closer. I know I haven't talked much about the defense in this game, but they didn't do a lot well either. Couldn't stop the run very well, and Rattler picked them apart. But we move on from this Week 9 loss, our 7th game of the season. I have a very small recruiting update today, as Tahan Jackson has decided on SMU as his school. He's a player I kinda gave up on, like last episode I believe it was. We still have a few players we're in first place for, and then some of these trickier situations where we're behind some other teams. Like here is Caney and Johnson. We're behind Texas Tech, but we're the only team to offer to him. So I'm not sure how those situations are going to play out. Maybe they will eventually give him an offer. Same situation here with Lockhart, although we could be locked out despite having the only offer for him. I do like this recruiting battle, though, for Laurentiis Cypress II. Got to build up this offensive line, as you saw today. Number 28 guard, a 3-star prospect, but a player I do see as a good building block for the future offensive line. At the top of the board, some higher caliber players. Might be hit or miss, but those are at least tight battles. And I'll continue to find more of these 3-stars that are going overlooked to try and fill out this recruiting class. But next episode, we will return home, and I expect the audio will as well. And we'll take on Texas Tech and their air raid wide open offense. I'm still trying to figure out how I like to attack these offenses. You know, I always talk about how I don't like 3-man rushes, but when you face these teams that constantly go 5 wide and maybe have a running threat at quarterback, I kind of get it. There aren't a lot of plays you can call that make you feel too comfortable otherwise. But I feel like the rest of the season will have a chance for us to show some progress and have some better games with this offense. We have to run the football better. We have to avoid sacks and negative plays and start to get more consistent. I think we're also going to see Joe Wright play a little bit less. He does lead the team in drops now with 6 on the season, and other players have been targeted far more than him. So you'll see a little more Tim Whittaker, I'd have to imagine, for the rest of the way. And I'm still kind of retooling the playbook a little bit, finding some things that don't work as well as I had hoped and trying to fill in the gaps. There are some things from Texas that I thought, we could implement in the offense. I don't want to run like a ton of shotgun and have an offense that looks a lot like past ones I've run. I've had a different vision for this team, so it's all a work in progress still here in Season 1 of the Revamped Dynasty. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was different with no audio for the game. Just felt to me like trying to do a traditional commentary would feel really weird not having the audio. You really miss it when it's not there. But I like the way this came together. I hope you did as well. But I would like your thoughts on the video down below in the comments section. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel. More UTSA coming your way later this week. Have a great day. I'll see you all next time.